Jesus Christ, people. Hello everybody, I'm Dylan, and in the tradition of goofy, cheesy, erotic, low-budget films in the same vein as Sideline Secrets, I bring you today Zombies, released in 2003, not to be confused with a plethora of other movies with zombies in the title. This film was directed by Alex Pucci, production company by DeadGuysCinema, and it stars Creed Bowlan, Eric Dean, and Draven Gonzalez. So, this film is a bit hard to describe. Our main character is Christian, a young gay man who seems to get into odd predicaments with bizarre characters. I'll say this film sets up the fun right from the start. We see two guys flirt, kiss, while another guy is watching. Then this guy intervenes, attacks the two lovebirds in what I first thought was sort of a homophobic attack. He kills one, then kills the other, in comical fashion. This is some of the worst choreographed kills I've ever seen. So you can tell right off the bat that it's low-budget fun. This film has plenty of kills and plenty of blood, even though it largely looks fake. The blood kinda looks like pinkish red paint. I actually rewinded this first scene when I saw it. I thought I had missed a part. It starts really abruptly. We slowly learn that this is kind of a cult. They call themselves zombies, but they're not zombies in the traditional sense that we know them today. To me, they're more like, you know, those weird vampire cults that college campuses seem to have for some reason? You know, the ones who have fetishes for blood? Well, that seems to be what we have here. Although these guys do kill people for real. Normally young gay men, as luck would have it. We get to other scenes where some guys get their hearts ripped out of their chests. And these are some of the worst looking movie hearts I've ever seen. But if the blood and hearts looked too real, this movie wouldn't be nearly as fun. After the guy gets his heart ripped out, by the way, the camera cuts to him in his chest again with no open wound or anything. Whoops. So Christian has like a boss of his cult, and this boss keeps telling him that he owns his soul. So it's a little hard to follow. We kinda go from one scene to another with this and that and the other thing happening. It's a bit similar to Sideline Secrets 2, where scenes don't seem to flow well with one another. You cut to these characters, then you cut to those characters. We get kills, we get a lot of fake blood, we get some erotic moments, some nudity, but nothing too drastic. These zombies basically have to kill people and obtain their hearts, basically for their cult leader. The main theme to this film is Cult of Zombies. Obviously, you have a group of guys working underneath another guy, gathering hearts, souls, whatever it is. It's kinda run like a sex trade. You know, with the sex trade workers working for a pimp, or some drug cartel working for a big boss. We have zombies working for a king zombie, but they're more like vampires. I don't know, I have no idea. That's about all I can come up with as themes. You have slight themes of friendship, love, but nothing too profound. So, good gosh, what can I say about this film? This is one of those films that I have trouble verbalizing my opinions, even the story of the film. It's a challenge. The film takes a common pop culture monster, the zombie, although these aren't zombies like we know them. When I think about zombies, I think about human type, undead, very limited vocabulary if any, grayish or even blue rotting skin, and they hang out in groups and terrorize humans, looking to eat flesh or brains or something. They don't have much thought process, they're just kind of aggressive and go straight for their prey. But here we have more of a cult. They do have thought processes, organization abilities, setting up their preys, very coherent speeches. Well, at least most of them. As I watched this, I kinda wasn't following the plot itself as much. I was more mesmerized by the bad acting and the fake blood and fake hearts. But I was still curious, like how did they make those fake hearts? What is the blood? I think they should have made them into vampires instead of zombies, that would make more sense. But there's a lot of outside daytime scenes as well, so that wouldn't have worked either. As for the acting, it's cheesy and over the top. It goes in the same vein as the Sideline Secret movies. Speaking of actors, this one is probably my favorite. I don't even remember his name, and he's only in the film for a few minutes, but he's so batshit insane. His acting is really over the top, even compared to the other actors. It's the type of good cheese I enjoy in films. Sometimes films cross that line into total absurdity, and it ends up being enjoyable because you've decided to throw all logic out the window. You're just enjoying what's presented to you. The musical cues in the film are also very loud. I don't know if they didn't have faith in the actors' acting to pull off the mood, so it's almost like they compensated by putting the music louder than necessary. Even for my favorite character here, every time we see him, there's this loud, suspenseful music accompanied by a bee sound or a baby crying sound. It just cracks me up. A lot of stuff happens in this film. It's not like it's slow and plodding and there's nothing going on. Scenes are being thrown at you almost nonsensically. They spared no expenses on the fake blood and hearts, so there's plenty of it to go around. One problem is that you don't really get invested into these characters, so you don't care about the plot as much. To be fair, the actors themselves look like they're having a lot of fun filming this. They don't seem to be real actors, I'm not sure, but I sense like everybody is trying as hard as they can. It kind of feels like a low-budget college project between common students. I'm not sure that's what's going on here, I didn't look it up, but it kind of gives me that vibe. But the guys look like they're happy participating in the film, so you know, somebody wanted to make a film and they made it. Good for them. So what happens to the main character? Well, I guess he'll have to pay for his misdeeds, right? And how will he pay for his misdeeds? By hot shirtless men coming out of his bed, of course. The horror. Damn, I can only wish for this to happen to me. I'll say right now, I'm a fan of horror movies, but I've never really liked zombies or vampires that much. Zombies are usually just hordes mindlessly chasing people through a city or a mall or something. And vampires, well, they have too many weaknesses. A vampire could try to get into my apartment, but it's a little messy and he'd probably trip over something and impale himself on one of my wooden folding tables or something. I prefer a good ghost story, but that's just me. As for ratings, IMDb has a low score of 3.8 out of 10 for this film. It is not rated on Rotten Tomatoes. I have to admit, with all the films I've reviewed, this, for some reason, is probably the hardest for me to rate. Normally, for me to recommend a film, it has to be at least a score of 6 out of 10. Under a 6 is not really recommended. While a lot of people probably won't like this film, I do think there is some fun to be had here. It's one of those films that you need friends and alcohol and can have a really fun time with it. So, gosh, I don't know what to rate this.
How the f*** would you know, you mindless piece of boys?
I give this film a 5.5 out of 10. It doesn't quite have my passing mark, so it's not really recommended. But if you're curious and you like these types of cheesy, low-budget films, then I would say give it a shot. I wouldn't call it complete trash. I enjoyed the actors' energy and intent, even if it doesn't always work out. I enjoyed the fake blood and hearts, and of course I enjoy my little psycho here. But beyond that, the film feels long. It's about an hour and a half, but it feels like it drags on towards the end. So with my opinions, you can probably decide whether you'd like this film or not. Have you seen Zombies? If so, what did you think about it? Feel free to send me a comment, like, subscribe, add me to Facebook, and I'll hopefully see you for the next review.
Hey! Hey! Smoking's bad for you, baby, you